Director Andrei Tarkovsky's fondness of nature led to the practical question: how do you fabricate wind for cinema? How does wind become an image? Tarkovsky relied on motorized aerial power. The gusts were created by a helicopter well placed for this artificial effect that blows across the crop field. Around the same period, countless aerial operations redesigned landscapes, cities, and fields. Mostly these were military operations. Some were agricultural. In some cases, the two were and remain indistinguishable. Fabricating wind is close to what cinema does anyway, creating movement across vast surfaces. Airborne, the surface is a field of operations. Surveying, bombing, hydrating, seeding, replanting, calculating, quantifying. The military history of the aerial view transforms also into guerrilla farming. What is perceived as planetary surface is transformed into synthetic surfaces with chemistry, captured as synthetic landscapes, as data. Logistics of perception is also logistics of synthesis. Many of the images in this video are from companies promoting their seed bombing services. Some are more speculative. The persistence of military metaphors is obvious, yet peculiar. Isn't there a discrepancy between the rapidity of destruction and the slowness of growth? Seed pods hit the ground. They replant and restore vegetal surfaces. We are shown airplanes and drones. They are better for accessing difficult sites, we are told. They can cover much larger areas than by foot. The scenes we have combined, juxtaposed and rearranged show the air, the ground, seeds and images. They show the air from the ground from the air, the plants as images, and images as they define the ground. A circulation of how we know and how we picture, how images grow and how growth is imaged. Most of what we see deals with pace and speed, how to hasten the transformation of living surfaces. Surfaces are managed vertically as part of a longer history of the motorized descent. First as war, then as reforesting, first as images, then as bombing, first as aerial photography, then as automated drone surveys. It feels like surfaces are lifted off the ground. We shift between the lab and the landscape. What happens in a lab is repeated in a landscape. Those are remade into laboratories too. Plants fabricate landscapes. They take shape, change color, redefine areas on soil level and in remote sensing. The growth is analyzed as images. This transformation is accelerated through chemistry. The time-lapse is one form of picturing the artifice of nature. Images are laboratory instruments. Also, images travel from the lab to the landscape. Territories and growth are measured as time and location. Techniques of speed and acceleration are not only for war. Low-tech seed bombing gives way to automation of airspace. Airspace to landscape. Imaging in order to operate. Operate in order to transform. Territorial grids are replaced with precision markers for drone navigation. The surface is analyzed as data that abstracts the biosphere into a circulation of images. Environmental management is a recursive loop. Analysis of surface as images, images as data, seeding and monitoring according to data, and repeat. Seeding is one form of image making. It transforms the soil into a perception of light. The scenes you are watching feature images of images, or perhaps images within images, or even images imprinted onto landscapes. Images that can be grown, and images that emerge as data from that growth. The continuum of the color code, operations of green surfaces and operations of colorful data visualizations. Could we name this as platform ruralism? Images grown by forests as models for technical systems. Digital images are for planning and management. Screens on top of soil, but also images that emerge from the soil, sensing on and off the ground. They redefine the thin living surface as intellectual property control and as intellectual capital management. A territorial surface brought into the value systems of digital platforms.